Let's see what the voters are saying to Biden dropping out of the presidential race.
I just have to take a breath to understand what the plan is.
Can't blame that reaction. President Joe Biden drops his re-election campaign, and though people anticipated it, they were still shocked, and they're wondering what will happen next. Mark Strassman has our story.
He's a true patriot for stepping down.
It came as a shock, to be completely honest with you.
I'm just sad.
What'd you think?
Interesting. I thought that most people thought he would push through, but at the same time, I'm not surprised.
Was it the right decision?
I think we'll see.
Ever since the debate, people we talked to have heard rumors and
What's going on? Is there like a mass organized retail theft occurring in the background?
rumblings that the president might step aside. But when it did happen, it was one of those moments that felt both telegraphed and startling.
A lot of people knew there was going to be some big issues here for a long period of time. Should have been planned differently.
I'm not happy because, number one, why they wait so long? Number two is, what's the plan?
For many voters, President Biden's exit and his endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris has changed nothing about which party they'll support.
One of the reasons I voted originally in 2020 for Biden and Kamala was Kamala.
I have voted for Clinton, I have voted for Bush, I have voted for Obama, and guess what? The only one who has stayed true to his word is Trump.
But in crucial battleground states, swing voters have a lot to consider.
Still hard to pay rent. It's hard to, buy groceries with all the inflation that's happening. And I'm looking for someone who would be able to help with those things, and I don't think Trump or Kamala Harris would be able to.
I would be interested to see.
Dude, I'm telling you, Kamala pops off on a totally partisan way against Benjamin Netanyahu. When Benjamin Netanyahu addresses Congress, it would be, at least on a messaging front, it would give much more confidence, in my opinion, to Michigan voters. That's it. You don't even have to go out of your way. You don't have to call it like an apartheid state. You don't have to say that it's doing a genocide. Literally, just from a pure partisan perspective. I'm not even kidding. Pull a Chuck Schumer before Chuck Schumer turned around and invited Benjamin Netanyahu to the to come speak to Congress. That's it. On pure partisan grounds, the Democratic Party blocks Netanyahu, or at least a significant percentage of Democratic Party politicians don't attend the congressional hearing or the addressing the Congress thing that he's doing. And then she just says, right now is not the time for Benjamin Netanyahu to come and interfere in the American democratic process. We know he's a big fan of Donald Trump, and he has his own elections to worry about. What the is he doing here? Something along those lines. It's not even that outside of the scope of comprehension. I'm telling you, it is something that it literally doesn't have the legitimate change in policy that she needs to tap into as well. That's all she needs to do. Wouldn't that lose the Jewish vote? Brother, I'm sorry. What do you mean the Jewish vote? First of all, the 18 to 35 demographic is significantly more important than the Jewish vote. What the are you talking about? The Jewish vote? Yeah, dude, New York and California are gonna fall to the Republican Party. Like, what are you saying? That's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous statement. The Jewish vote. This is before we consider that it's not like Jews are gonna be like, oh, dude, what? You said that about Israel? Well, it's over for you. Jewish Americans vote 70% Democrat. Okay, that's number one. Number two, and the 30% are oftentimes very, very hardline conservatives anyway. And beyond that, it's mostly in Los Angeles and California and New York, hardline Democrat states to begin with. And they're not a monolith. And I know she's meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu privately. There are far bigger benefits to Michigan, your electoral chances in Michigan, and beyond that, the younger voters that are just completely checked out as a consequence of this. Maybe it's not the most consequential thing for them, Israel-Palestine, especially because Israel-Palestine and Joe Biden being incredibly fucking old was the reason why many of them were checked out of the process. But ultimately, it's a major misstep if you don't say something at least somewhat critical, even on partisan lines. Why is Gaza so important for Michigan? 100,000 uncommitted votes in Michigan. Massive Arab population, Arab Christians, Arab Muslims in Dearborn. But beyond that, black and brown voters in Michigan as well. Strong student population in Michigan. I think you're biased on the issue. Yes, because I'm a Muslim man, fundamentalist Islamist who can't think of anything. But Gaza. I know, I'm obsessed with Gaza. I'm obsessed with talking about Gaza. Good luck in the upcoming coming election. Okay, we have to keep our unconditional support and loyalty to the apartheid state of Israel. You're right. Like, I'm not even talking about it from that framework, by the way. I'm not even talking about it from my own personal motivations here. People do not understand. There are key states in the middle of the country that we rarely ever talk about, that we usually often take for granted, as Hillary Clinton also did in 2016, that have openly delivered higher numbers of votes for the uncommitted campaign that was launched in like a week, then the percentage, or not the margin, but like the total votes that Biden won those states by. You keep specifically talking about your analysis on the elections, and chatters keep thinking it's your personal opinions. Lamau is so annoying. I know. It's very frustrating. It's very, very annoying that people just go, oh, you're just biased about Gaza. I'm not saying that every American only cares about Gaza. Most Americans don't. I keep repeating and reiterating the position that Americans don't give a foreign policy in general. Americans do not care about foreign policy, which swings in either direction. That's why you can make certain decisions on foreign policy that Americans are not going to vote on, as evidenced by the fact that not a single American is talking about our 13 best soldiers on this election, unless it's like a Republican that's trying to be like, remember when Biden pulled out of Afghanistan and how fucked up it was, 13 of our best soldiers died? Like, no one cares about that shit. They don't. So even when you when you make decisions that are actually good in terms of like pulling back on some of our imperial ambitions, Americans still don't care. What about Vietnam, though? Feels like people care after all? Yes. The caveat to what I'm saying is that Americans don't care about foreign policy until it's the only thing they care about. That's it. That's the classic. It's a cliche in American political commentary, American political history. Americans don't care about foreign policy until it's the only thing they care about. You understand me? But having said that, there are Americans who are not itching to vote right now that you can at the very least try and captivate. It's not bizarre that Americans don't care about foreign policy. Why would they care about foreign policy? This entire system is designed for them not to care about foreign policy, because American foreign policy is death and destruction globally. I've described it as such. Your ear has the capacity to hear a lot more sounds than you actually pay attention to. If you were to constantly think about the world spinning, or if you were to constantly think about all the noises that you would normally hear, if you were to like actually pay attention to it, you go crazy. Foreign policy is kind of like that. We just tune it out deliberately, because if you were to literally constantly think about it, you'd go insane. You'd be like, oh my God, 800 military bases, so much money being spent. I want to show people those TikToks. I've archived some of them. I want to show you one of those TikToks. Yeah, cost per ammo. Exactly. I think this might be it. Hold up. Oh yeah, here. Just run this forever. Now imagine if every American was constantly thinking about this. They would literally go insane. So there you go. This is why America's great. Yeah, I know. We spend so much money on that instead of housing our own. So that is just the bullets and the ammunition and the ordnance. Like, we're not even talking about like the housing costs and everything else. Okay, we're not talking about the R&D costs of manufacturing this weapon. We're just talking about the bullets, talking about the ordnance. We're not talking about the actual cost of the ship. We're not talking about the fuel. We're not talking about the military aid to our allies like Israel, maintenance, storage, logistics. So now you understand why Americans don't think about foreign policy, because if they constantly thought about foreign policy, they would lose their goddamn minds. Now, why did I talk about that? Well, that's precisely the reason why I think Kamala Harris could make, at least on the messaging front, some changes to the current order of business. Do you understand? Because it cuts both ways. Americans don't give a fuck about foreign policy, which spells opportunity to actually make decisions in the opposite side.
See who her running mate would be as well, to kind of see the whole picture.
For CBS Mornings.
Let's bring in 11 Live's Molly Oaks. So Molly, you have been hearing from people all across Metro Atlanta about this decision. What are some of these voters saying about this?
Yeah, Ron, I'm live in downtown Atlanta, where people have not been surprised when they ask what we're doing here, and we tell them we're talking about President Joe Biden's announcement. Everyone we've talked to so far has heard where it was coming from. So along with lawmakers across the country, we're also hearing from folks right here in Atlanta, and so far they've had some mixed reviews.
Yes, very surprised.
Why?
Because I don't think that's right. They let him. I think they should have let him run. Yeah, that's what I think.
I think it might have been a good decision, but people don't seem to be backing Harris, which is a shame. And I don't know what's going to happen with the rules and the laws to replace him at such a short period of time.
I mean, he's clearly not fit. But if you're planning on winning the election, I don't see anybody else that can go up against Trump.
And coming up tonight at 11, you'll hear more reaction from folks here in Atlanta as well as lawmakers on the president's announcement. Reporting live in downtown Atlanta, Molly Oak, 11 Alive News.
All right. Immediately when the news broke, WHS 11 reporters were out around town, and WHS 11's Alexandra Goldberg, along with photojournalist Aspen Hester, talking to people about this political stunner.
But I cannot believe, it's like, wow. Like, who's, oh, Lord.
Just minutes after news broke, Biden dropping out, we headed to Shawnee Park. Tracy Browning said she was shocked when we told her. And now that Biden isn't the nominee, she said she's writing in her desired candidate.
For me, that line at the bottom that says other, I will put God. And I believe and trust God will be in control.
Others weren't as shocked.
But it does not surprise me that he dropped out of the race. I know it's been.
That's great. Maybe you don't have to say that. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do I know?
Like a lot of speculation too on his age and his ability and his capabilities on him actually being the president.
And as Andy Beshear's name continues to float potential presidential or vice president lists, one voter said he'd like to see the Kentucky governor in Washington, but not now.
I would prefer him wait till like the next time around. This time around kind of feels a little rushed for me, you know, because he's like a superstar. And I think if you rush it, you might mess it up.
He's not wrong. No question marks. He's like low-key kind of right. He's kind of not wrong. It's an interesting take, and he's not entirely wrong about it.
Still trying to wrap their heads around a truly historic moment in America. In Shawnee Park, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS 11.
Yeah, thank you, Troy and Megan. Yeah,
Agreed. We saw what happened with Stacey Abrams. Never compare Andy Beshear to Stacey Abrams. Come on. Stacey Abrams has never won anything except for millions of dollars from Michael Bloomberg and donations. How are you going to compare that to Andy Beshear, two-time champion in Kentucky, deep red, literally a guy who has been able to unironically captivate Trump voters, like actual Trump voters, to vote for him as governor.
I spoke with a few Democrats and independents in South Jackson today. Now, they had mixed feelings about both Biden's announcement and the prospect of Kamala Harris as the potential replacement for him on the ballot.
I just really hate it. That's all I got to say.
I'm not really exactly happy. I mean, if it's due to health concerns, like running the country is a lot, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be stressful on anyone, and if he's a little bit older. I just say if it wasn't good for his mental health, then yeah, you know, you got my support in stepping down. But at the same time, you know, you kind of just left people like, what are we going to do? You know, you left it in a frenzy.
But I just feel like they just took it out on him because he was an elderly person. Like, and we all going to get old one day.
Dude, that is, oh God, boomers, dude. I swear to God, boomers, bro. Boomers. Oh my God. They are so monolithically selfish. Like, it is just, oh, it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad seeing that. It makes me so mad hearing that. They see Brandon and then they see themselves in him and they're like, no, I think I should still have the keys to the car. Is she wrong? Yes, she is wrong. Yes, she is wrong. What are we talking about?
Our vice president this long, so I mean, to me, in my opinion,
is this new?
Outside of inflation, which I feel like was going to happen regardless of whoever was the president at this time because of, I guess, the war and everything going on. I can't really say about Kamala because I just feel like I haven't really seen her do much. I don't really know like what decisions that she's helped make, any differences she's helped make. I don't know. So I can't say that she's probably a best candidate.
And that last woman you heard from said if it was up to her, her pick would have been Michelle Obama. Now, I spoke with a Republican off camera as well who made his displeasure with Joe Biden clear, whether he stayed in the race or not. All right, reporting live from the Capitol, I'm Bradley Davis, WAPT News.
Now, this, of course, is a story that has everybody talking. Tonight, our Derek Hyde checking the political pulse here in Western New York, giving a voice to local Democrats and Republicans alike as we prepare for an upcoming election like no other.
Awesome.
President Joe Biden just announced that he will not be seeking a second term in the office of the presidency. So I traveled all across Western New York talking to you about what you think this major shakeup means for us here come November.
My name is Tracy.
Tyrone Woods.
Jason Patrick.
Ike Thompson.
I am Ron from NT.
It's from Buffalo, New York.
From North Tonawanda.
So from Cambria, New York.
I am right here from North Tonawanda.
Biden just dropped out of the race. What are you thinking about that?
I think I could have saw it coming. I think it was something that was coming. I think that we all kind of seen that coming. I think it's good for him to kind of step out of there because you're getting older. Got to sit it down. You know, I think I'm really excited and waiting to see who's going to be next.
I think it's better for our country. We definitely need another option. I mean, Biden seems like a good guy, but I think for our country, we need someone who can do more.
Need somebody young. I know the internet talks about all of, the older people, senior citizen, and this and that and the third, and the way they think, but it actually depends on us, the people, as far as who we vote on.
No, I didn't really think that. I thought he was going to keep fighting.
I think he was going to keep going till he won. Well, I think he should have, because it doesn't seem like he can hold his act together as far as talking and all that other stuff. So, yeah, he probably should have.
I just saw a mental decline over the years, and it didn't seem right.
A lot of new ideas are going to come in, and we need that. So I think that the old way of doing things is out the door with him.
The Democratic Party has not yet announced who will be its presidential candidate come November. But President Biden did formally endorse Vice President Kamala Harris on social media, a welcome sight for some of the young women I spoke to.
I feel like Trump gonna win, but it would be a miracle if Kamala win.
I want to see how it feels to have a female president. 'Cause I feel like us females could do so much things.
A new Democratic candidate will soon be on the horizon. It seems like a lot of us here in Western New York are eagerly awaiting for who will get that bid. We're a voice for Western New York, Derek Hyde, 7 News.
Tell me, what did you think about the news that Biden's stepping out of the race?
It was surprising, but definitely
it was the right thing to do.
It was the right choice and a good choice. I think that he's on his way out anyways, so.
But he had one term, like, be happy with that. Give somebody else a shot,
Do you think this will give the Democrats more of a chance to beat Trump?
Oh yeah.
I should
100%.
hope so.
Yeah, 100%. Because definitely will give him a better shot.
I have mixed feelings about it, to be honest with you. On one hand, I think he could have stayed in the race a little bit longer, but after seeing the debate and hearing what other people were saying about him, I think it might be a good move for what he's doing. Some fresh blood. Harris polls well against Trump, so I think she has a real shot at winning.
I'm nervous. I hear so much animosity toward her, around the workplace, which is more conservative. But
yeah, chat. Why are you guys not being normal about like normie Americans? Like, what do you mean? This is what it's good. It's good to watch this. These are just like regular goobers like you. They are more representative of like the normal political opinion than you.
I mean, they weren't going to vote Biden anyway, so it's going to be interesting. I'm voting for whoever isn't Trump, and I wish I was more excited, but I'm still nervous.
I think she reminds me of like an auntie, like at the cookout or something. I don't know. Like she's a very like likable person. Seems like she does have like a questionable I don't know, like time as the attorney, like putting people in jail for like smoking marijuana and stuff like that. So it'd definitely be something that I'm gonna think about moving forward.
If it was in between Kamala
He's right. That's a big old weakness for her.
Harris and Donald Trump, I would vote for Trump.
Me personally, I'll stay where I'm at in the middle.
I would pick Kamala Harris, definitely. Just because it's something different. The country, we still have not had a woman president yet. So what better opportunity now for that change to happen in this day and age? And plus, representing, African American.
Remember chatters who were earlier yelling at me being like, I can't believe you said Kamala Harris's charisma is important. I can't believe you even brought up Kamala Harris. Oh, you wanted her to shuck and jive for you. That's what one chatter said. I should have just pulled this video up so that people can understand like what normal Americans are looking at and thinking about when making these consequential decisions.
Being a woman, I'm all for it.